This is me reading Apricot, but I still can't see myself. I don't know why. Let's try my best. Chapter 5, entitled Free. Apricot peered through a gap in the bag, and he could see more cans of beer flying through the air, and he was glad to get away. It was a bumpy ride in the handbag, but he was enjoying it. Everything looked different from his new vantage point. The streets below him, the cans strewn in the distance, the shine of people's shoes, and his cage door swinging free, as if beckoning him back like a trap. It was a lovely feeling, but also quite scary being out in the open for a change, thought Apricot. Heidi stopped and waited, and then she got on a bus, and it was the direct bus to London. Apricot knew something had changed, and he felt the rumble of the engine, and he heard the chatter of the passengers. They all sounded so polite and not like his master. Heidi gazed out of the bus window, all the drizzling streets, and the sea of umbrellas and busy shoppers. It was so exciting, she thought, and one thing she loved was excitement. They were so frantically busy that it made her feel tired and sleepy. She began to wilt like an unwatered flower, which was good news for Apricot, as it gave him a chance to peer further out and not to be seen. But he had to be careful, as the last thing he wanted to do was to be found out and return back to his old life. The rocking of the bus lulled Apricot to sleep. It was a lovely feeling because he wasn't used to sleeping so well in his noisy home. He had a lot of catching up to do. When he opened his eyes, the bus was full of even more people, and he knew that he had to be careful. He avoided their eye contact and peered out of the window contentedly. To his amazement, he saw a giant clock. Apricot had never seen a clock so big before. He couldn't tell the time, but he enjoyed watching the handles moving around. It was like a race, but the bigger handles weren't moving quickly at all. They must be tired, thought Apricot wisely, who was just coming back to life himself. Then he nearly jumped out of his skin when there was an almighty clanging noise. Bong, bong, bong went the huge clock. That's Big Ben, the passengers said with smiles on their faces. What a funny name for a clock, thought Apricot, but he was impressed. The bus wound round more sights, and Apricot marvelled at the shimmering boats on the river, and he wished that he could jump on board. Apricot loved adventure. Apricot lived for excitement, but the only excitement that he got was in his dreams. Things are changing, he thought accurately, and his eyes widened to the size of dinner plates, as the river lit up with lights like precious jewels. Apricot nearly cried with joy, and a small purring noise emanated from the expensive-looking handbag. Has someone left their phone on? A nosy woman said, looking down at her spectacles with distaste. All of the ladies rummaged at even some of the men. Apricot saw the commotion, and he ducked further down into the bag and tried his best to purr quietly.